Shane Van Gisbergen recently astounded NASCAR fans at North Wilkesboro Speedway. Few NASCAR stories seem as implausible or as captivating as the one about Shane Van Gisbergen. SVG, an Australian supercar legend, arrived in America with lofty goals and a suitcase full of curiosity. His road course debut in 2023 was nothing short of historic, as he surprised the racing world by winning in Chicago. But in the months that followed, reality hit hard. The NASCAR Cup Series is much more than just talent. It's about learning ovals, handling traffic, and thriving in a culture that penalizes the unfamiliar. Before we dive into that, I want to give a massive thanks to the ones that have subscribed in the last month. We've grown from a couple hundred subs to 3,000 in a couple of weeks. Thanks for that. Now we want to reach the 4,000 milestone by the end of the month. Will you help us? Subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks a lot. Despite early obstacles, growing mistrust, and a steep learning curve, Van Gisbergen has discreetly worked on the problem. This weekend in North Wilkesboro, something clicked. He not only took the pole in the All-Star Open, but he did so with style, speed, and surgical precision. It appeared to be a breakthrough for a driver who had previously doubted his abilities on oval tracks. Perhaps even a tipping point. This isn't just a recap of one racing weekend. It's the story of a racer who rejects his comfort zones, reinvents himself in real time, and dares to show that passion and perseverance are still important. Whether you're a die-hard fan or simply like a comeback, Shane Van Gisbergen's rise is a story to watch. The New Zealand native, who has struggled all season, has just secured pole position for the All-Star Open with a stunningly impressive qualifying lap, leaving everyone wondering if SVG has finally figured out oval racing. Not long ago, racing experts questioned whether Shane Van Gisbergen belonged on oval tracks. The three-time Supercars champion is having a horrible rookie season, placing 35th in the Cup Series standings. Before this weekend, his best oval start was 17th at Talladega, but tonight in North Wilkesboro, he exceeded everyone and demonstrated that he will not give up on his NASCAR dreams. "I think we finally got all of the things right," Van Gisbergen said after winning in 88.685 seconds. "Yeah, I think we finally got all things right. Qualifying speed a weakness. My lap was pretty good, and then, coming in was good. Pit stop guys were insane, so really good for them, and thanks to WeatherTech." This wasn't just a regular qualifying session. It was All-Star Weekend, and the system was completely different and more punitive. Drivers had to complete one fast lap, then enter pit road for a 4-tire stop, and finally finish another flying lap. The aggregate timing determines who starts where, and any inaccuracy can jeopardize your chances. SVG conquered this difficult obstacle with the same skill and intensity that has helped him become an Australian supercar legend. Much of his advantage came from braking late into pit road, a skill he learned over years of road course racing, but it was his Trackhouse pit crew that sealed the deal with a lightning-fast tire replacement that left the entire pit box delighted. When that scene appeared on the screen, you could see the genuine emotion. After weeks of anguish and adjusting to oval racing, this moment of triumph caused the entire crew to jump for joy. This was more than just a pole position. This demonstrated that SVG belongs in NASCAR's Premier Series. "We're up front tomorrow. I've never started at the front for an oval, so I don't know what to do there," Van Gisbergen honestly admitted. "To learn the rules and see how we go." Fans respect SVG specifically for his genuine humility. Despite winning 48 pole positions in his Australian supercar career, he performs like a student on NASCAR ovals. Carson Hocevar led SVG in the first row, followed by Noah Gragson, Michael McDowell, and Ryan Preece. The stakes could not be higher. Only the top 2 finishers will go to the main All-Star race, with one more driver chosen by fan vote. Starting from the pole gives you a considerable edge in North Wilkesboro, where track position is everything. What makes this story even more intriguing is that SVG isn't the only New Zealand driver generating headlines this weekend. Scott McLaughlin, a fellow Kiwi, was the fastest driver on Fast Friday at the Indianapolis 500 practice, clocking 233.954 miles per hour. On the same weekend, 2 drivers from the same little country make significant impacts in American racing. Is this the start of a Kiwi takeover? The final time onto the front stretch, he comes to the checkered flag. He's won the very first street race in NASCAR. Thank you, guys. SVG's success in NASCAR has garnered international headlines. After shockingly winning his first NASCAR race in Chicago in 2023, being the first driver to do it since 1963, Van Gisbergen has worked tirelessly to prove himself in America's best racing series. But the journey has not been easy. SVG's move from Australian road racing to NASCAR's predominantly oval schedule has been particularly difficult. Being 35th in points suggests he is still figuring things out. The most challenging aspect has been learning to the unique aerodynamics of racing in traffic on ovals, which differ dramatically from supercars. Justin Marks, the owner of Trackhouse Racing, took a major risk by bringing SVG into NASCAR full-time. This pole position is SVG's first major victory on ovals, where he has battled the most. Marks has been exceedingly patient, and this qualifying performance shows that his confidence is being rewarded. The qualifying session revealed just why SVG is so unique. His lap was exactly right. His pit road entry was smooth but aggressive, and his pit crew was lightning fast. This exceptional partnership explains why Marks desired SVG to join Ross Chastain and Daniel Suarez at Trackhouse Racing. NASCAR has been a challenging test, but this is exactly why fans adore SVG. He abandoned his status as an Australian superstar to race in NASCAR. His willingness to try something incredibly difficult, even if it means failure, has earned him thousands of supporters. SVG performed precisely as expected as the All-Star Open kicked off on Sunday. He got the whole shot into Turn 1 and rapidly established a lead. He dominated the first half of the race, dominating 54 laps while appearing completely calm. "I was out front driving like a grandma. It felt like it was easy," Van Gisbergen said after the race. "But still, I felt like the tires were going to go off at the halfway mark." SVG had a comfortable lead of 3.5 seconds. Then the competition caution flying and strategy became crucial. Van Gisbergen and his crew elected to utilize 4 fresh tires, although the drivers behind him only risked on 2. That decision lost SVG his track position, lowering him from 1st to 6th at the restart. Carson Hocevar was one of 5 drivers to take 2 tires and take the lead. "Once I was back there, no grip, and I put myself in some bad spots too," Van Gisbergen explained. Despite his tire advantage, SVG was unable to make up the ground he had lost. When the second caution flew with 23 circuits remaining, Van Gisbergen rejoined the top 5 but faded swiftly. Carson Hocevar went on to win the All-Star Open, with John Hunter Nemechek finishing second. Noah Gragson won the fan vote, securing the final spot. Van Gisbergen placed 13th, failing to advance to the main event. "Yeah, I don't know whether to smile or cry," Van Gisbergen admitted after the race. "It's been a dismal year for us, but I feel like we're getting better every week, and this shows that. It was awesome to lead some laps." Even if he did not transfer, this weekend represents a big step forward for SVG. Leading 54 laps from the pole shows that he is finally understanding oval racing. The speed was present, the confidence was there, and the team's execution was nearly faultless. One thing is certain, Shane Van Gisbergen just made a big statement at North Wilkesboro Speedway. From slogging in the back of the pack to leading from the pole, he is demonstrating that his NASCAR career is far from over. In fact, it might just be getting started. What were your views on SVG's impressive pole run? Please share your guesses in the comments. Is Shane Van Gisbergen finally ready to conquer ovals?